sync.
All together?
1, 2, 3.
Wow, we're good.
Hello everyone, welcome to a special edition of the Shark Video Podcast. We are here in South Africa and we are joined by a very special guest right in the middle of us. Hello, Skyler Thomas. How are you doing?
I'm glad you meant me because I started smiling.
Yeah.
I almost thought you meant Ollie.
It is indeed you. Ollie, where are we?
We are in Umkomaas, which is up near Durban in South Africa. And we're here filming for Monsters, which is Skyler's latest film project. So we're basically here as your film crew.
Thanks for coming, guys.
No problem.
Small budget film takes passionate people willing to come and work on something they believe in to make these things happen, as well as other people that are making it happen here. People that have been very accommodating and helping out. I keep looking at that screen. Is that a problem?
You look wherever you want.
Okay, good. So it has been a hectic schedule. We've gotten a lot of filming. Not everything has gone according to plan. Some things have gone better than planned.
Yeah, we should say at this point that we're sitting in what is probably the noisiest part of South Africa that we could have possibly found to do this podcast. So you will hear planes, cars and things that sound like a combination of the two throughout this podcast.
Bearing in mind that where we set up a microphone will instantly become the noisiest part of South Africa. So
yeah, that's been the trend.
Yeah.
So yeah, these last few weeks we've been all over the place filming lots of different things, loads of sharks, loads of interviews, loads of location shoots as well. And this is all for the film. There you go, there's a car. All for the film Monsters. How did the concept of Monsters come about?
So it is a close look at the history of the KwaZulu-Natal coast, Durban, and the Natal Sharks Board, but it's at the same time a look at us as humans and how we choose to prioritize certain things or choose to believe what we want to believe despite the impact it has on other animals and the environment as a whole. I made a film about coaling, which was mostly focused on what was happening in Australia. During that process, I kept hearing about the shark nets here, put in by the Natal Sharks Board, and have been repeatedly told that they work. Look, quote unquote, look, your film was great, but I can tell you, growing up in Durban, that the shark nets work. So, being skeptical of that, I decided to come and find out for myself. After all, it's possible, not really, but possible that I could have been wrong.
Why a film about things like beach nets when there's things like overfishing, sport fishing, especially in your home country?
Yeah.
Why is this important?
I think it's important to remember that just because you can point at something worse, that doesn't make what's currently happening okay. There's always going to be something worse. I mean, I keep learning about new horrific things that humans are doing to the planet daily. And if we keep saying, well, there's something worse, we're never going to take that first step. You got to start somewhere. Simultaneously, I wonder if we're not fooling ourselves about what we truly want to do, what we're truly willing to save, when this is how we protect protected species, by killing that exact same species. So if the ultimate goal is to get animals protected, and then we turn around and the same government body that protected them kills them, are we fooling ourselves about the entire process?
We should probably give a shout out to Blue Ocean.
Yes.
Dive Resort where we're staying.
Also known as the
Great
Drunken
guys.
Hangout.
Thanks for putting us up. If you guys see this,
Yeah.
and we can
Really
recommend this place to anyone wanting to come to Aliwal to dive with the sharks.
Great food, great people, great facility, great dives.
Great atmosphere. Yeah.
This is a big project.
Yeah.
Where did you start planning a project like this? How do you go about making a film?
The first step was accepting the fact that I was going to do a planned one, because I've kind of been run and gun in the past. For example, the Western Australian coal, I didn't really have time to plan it out. I was in South Africa when they announced that they were in fact going to go through with it. And I returned home and I was like, well, okay, so let's plan this out. And someone was like, it's going to be over pretty quick, because it was actually a trial period in Western Australia. So I just shot over there. I told some people that I knew online that I was coming over. Can you help out? Can you help me organize this? And the story came together while I was there. And then that, of course, required a lot of work in post-production in order to put a storyline around what you already had. In this case, it's a new effort to actually have planned shots, have a film crew, which is incredible. And
when you say planned shots, what does that mean?
So to understand, like, I actually wrote a script, because instead of it just being a data-driven documentary, it's going to be a journey together. The audience gets to follow our journey as we discover things here. So we obviously had to, I obviously had to come up with questions that needed to be answered, look into any controversy that's come up in the history, just so that we had places to go, people to look up, stories to follow, locations, knowing where the locations are going to be, because you have to find out whether it's reasonable to even be able to get to those locations. A lot of the locations are out on the water, and you know, it's not as simple as there's a boat sitting on the beach waiting to take you out. You have to get that boat, you have to get a captain, you have to have weather conditions that will allow you to go out there. And obviously they need to be, if anyone has ever tried to launch from the beach here, you'll know that you need a skilled captain, because it can get quite hairy.
So if anyone's watching this and they want to maybe start thinking about putting together their own maybe short film about an animal that they really like, or a project that they're really passionate about, maybe not travelling to the other side of the world, but what would be the first steps? How do you go about starting to think about putting together a film that is interesting to watch, has a bit of a story? How do you do that?
From looking at other people starting out, I think there's a natural tendency to try and mimic documentaries you've seen in your life, or to try to tell the whole story, a summary story. And to a sense, I think I was guilty of that with Great White Lies. It probably covered almost too much information. So my advice would be to narrow it down, pick one story, because when you add in great footage and when you add in the storyline from personal people, that one topic can be enough to drive an entire film. We all know David Diley, and I would say watching his film of Shark and Man, I was like, wow, he did this all in a month or 2 months in Fiji, and it was all about the reintroduction of predators on that reef. It was one storyline, but it was plenty for a film. And it's a fantastic film. And I was like, wow, I would like to go sit in Fiji for my next film. So maybe that's
Monsters 2.
Monsters
in Fiji.
2.
Talking of David Diley, we're hoping to be able to get him on one of our podcasts in a few weeks. So watch this space. David, if you're watching this,
We love you, David.
we'll get you on the next one.
David has happily offered advice as we've asked along the way. We appreciate it.
Yep, very much so.
And do watch his film. I don't actually say this about a lot of films. I think it was really good.
High praise indeed.
Yeah, we'll put some links in the description of the video as to where you can watch that. I'm pretty sure it's at the moment it's available on Amazon Prime, as well as a number of other sources. So,
Ollie, you've been in the water with sharks a lot, especially these 2 weeks.
Yep.
What are the differences with being in a shark when you're there just to see them or to film them?
being in a shark.
Being with a shark.
Every now and then you have to swim inside of the shark to get the shot that you need.
Jeez. Inside a whale.
Did I say in a shark?
You did. I've lost the question now. Sorry.
Did I really say in a shark?
I think you
I
did.
don't know.
Anyway,
I don't know what
so differences between
swimming with sharks, just swimming with them,
Yep.
or being there for the purposes of filming them. Are there different things that you have to think about when you're in the water?
Well,
in terms of your body positioning, or
there's a lot of advice as to how you should behave when you're in the water with sharks. It very much depends on what type of sharks you're diving with, and how potentially dangerous they might be. But in general, you can pretty much just, unless you're filming, you can pretty much just enjoy your time in the water and just enjoy seeing the sharks. You obviously don't want to provoke them in any way. With larger sharks, we've been given advice such as not behaving like prey. So obviously, standing your ground, not flapping around or swimming away when you see a shark. But when you're filming sharks, there is a lot more to think about. You almost sort of aren't thinking about the fact that you're swimming with sharks. You're just thinking about the fact that you're filming and you're needing to compose the shot, considering where the light is.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, we always try and film with the light, the sun at least, behind us. So you're constantly thinking about where you are in the water compared to where the sharks are. Sometimes you can't avoid, you can't choose that, and in those cases maybe you use video lights or something instead.
This
light the scene.
This is all making me think of several things. I'll spit it out there and then feed off of that. When you go shark diving, you're often told to keep your head on a swivel. They're probably not going to do anything, but if you're going to be smart, keep your head, be aware of your surroundings. And I'd venture to say it's quite easy, especially, I'm still just either not using a camera or using a GoPro. I'm guessing when you have that big dome port in front of you, it's quite easy to get lost in that. And despite us all knowing better, not have our heads on the swivel. So I'll also say that speaks volumes for the shark, because we're kind of failing to do what we should be doing and still not being bitten. But does the dome port give you a sense of security at all? Do you find yourself getting lost looking through the viewfinder?
I think you would, certainly when I've got the camera in front of me, I'm looking through that first. Yeah. And then I might lift my head up above and see that actually the shark is much closer than I had seen through my viewfinder, and kind of realise what a close shot I'm getting. But you also have that, I guess, sense of something you could use for protection should a shark show any kinds of aggression. That would be the thing that you would hold up. But having said that, that's never been the case. Even yesterday is the best example. We're filming with oceanic blacktips on the surface, and when I say they were coming close, I mean I've never seen that close. I've done this dive many times, but I've never been that close, where you're just being bumped into almost. And yet they were turning so tightly in front of our lenses, in front of our dome ports, that you're getting incredible shots and not a scratch.
No, their body control is amazing. It's amazing. And the lengths they go through to, dare I say, not be conflict oriented, which is a subtopic. People seem to think, and they've been taught that. People can't even remember when they were taught it, but I think I'm probably guilty of it, just imagining sharks in the ocean thinking all I want to do is kill. But that doesn't benefit any animal to approach life that way, or you're going to get injured and probably die. So these sharks aren't trying to fight each other. They aren't trying to fight with us. They're trying to get what they can with as least conflict as possible.
Definitely.
And you said almost bumped. I'm going to go ahead and say we got bumped. I got bumped a lot. And
you got bumped by one of their heads.
Yeah, more than once. Yeah. And the day before, or 2 days before that, the visibility was so bad at the surface that I was hitting sharks before I saw the sharks. Now, it's often brought up this word dangerous. Sharks aren't dangerous, or sharks are dangerous. So you like to say there's just dangerous situations. I'm going to say that's a dangerous situation, because when you remove the shark's ability to see, I know they have other senses, but you did remove another possibility for them to determine what you are.
Yeah.
And if they hit you, they could very well decide, well, let me see what that is. And they did.
Noises everywhere.
That was a monkey.
More of the South African noises. Yeah, there are monkeys behind us. That is another thing we should have added. Yeah.
Going back to this little section we were filming, this is for your White Shark video channel.
Yeah.
Is that right? Can you tell the guys that are watching a little bit about White Shark Video, what it is?
Are you talking about the segment at the surface?
Yes.
That was fun. A little bit impromptu.
But in general, what is White Shark Video, and what can people expect to see?
So White Shark Video is the name I chose for the umbrella company of the other projects that I have. The goal is to try to make people think about sharks and predators in general in a different way, just change their approach to the planet. We're up against so many media sources that are doing damage to what people think about sharks. You know, I've been diving with sharks for close to 20 years now. I can still remember my first moment seeing one, making eye contact, and that, as almost everyone will tell you, is the moment that you finally realize everything you've ever been told is a lie. Until you have that moment, for some reason you don't believe anything you saw on TV, you don't believe what your buddy said, you have to have that moment for yourself. And it still seems ludicrous for me and these guys when we meet people on the street that believe that Jaws is an accurate depiction of shark behavior, and that it is actually impossible to get in the water with sharks without being eaten. I also try to use information I learned from researchers, you know, actual, quote, shark experts in the field, because, you know, this is just a learning process for me. And then I try to combine what I've learned from them, and maybe even have them on camera talking, combined with footage of these amazing animals. And I think video is quickly emerging as a popular and powerful form of media or of conveying your message to people, far more, and I hate to say it to all the scientists who work their butts off on their papers, but the chances of people reading those papers are quite a bit lower than you providing a bit of entertainment mixed with that knowledge. So, long story longer, that's what I'm trying to do with White Shark Video.
Yeah, so White Shark Video, you've got a YouTube channel, you're on Instagram, Facebook, so people can follow on there. Most of your more in-depth videos are on YouTube, is that right?
Yeah, some of the longer ones. If you don't mind my rants, and if you like the shark minutes, the shorter bits, then you can follow, you know, the Facebook stuff and the Instagram stuff and actual Shark Minutes page and website.
Yeah.
But if you're a hardcore fan, go everything White Shark Video.
Yep.
White Shark Video.
Links in the description. So,
yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.